Hello class, my name is Amber Buckham. This is my peer-to-peer assignment number 3. I chose option number 2, the Experience Core study. So the Experience Core study, it was designed as a social approach to health promotion in older adults. They placed older adults in elementary schools to assist the students academically. They also designed this study to increase the older adults' volunteer activity in 3 different pathways, which they studied. They studied how this would change their physical activity, social activity, as well as cognitive activity. They hypothesized that improvement in one or more of these pathways would lead to better health outcomes. So they measured physical activity by the participants' distance walked in blocks each week, by the stairs they climbed weekly, calories burned weekly, as well as hours spent sitting or lying down or being idle. They looked at the participants' overall strength as well as their number of falls that week. They also looked at social activity and measured it by the person's social connections. So they asked who they would have check in on them if they were sick, who they could depend on, and also the actual number of connections they would see in a typical week. They also looked at the person's perceived emotional support. To measure cognitive activity, they looked at activities inside and outside of the participation and the schoolroom where they were doing the study. So they looked at high intensity, moderate, and low intensity activities outside of class. They also measured number of books read per month as well as hours of television watched per day. And then the in-school activities, they measured the number of activities as well as the time spent doing these activities. So these participants were measured as well as the control group, so they had a comparison between the two. So I found 3 related articles to these 3 pathways that were studied in the Experience Core study. The first study that we'll look at is the one that relates to cognitive activity. This study looks at cognitive stimulation to improve cognitive functioning in people with dementia. It was a study done by the Cochrane researchers, found in Cochrane database of systemic reviews in 2012 by Woods, Aguirre, Spector, and Orrell. This study found that evidence showed cognitive stimulation programs do benefit cognition in people with mild to moderate dementia over and above medication effects. The next study has to do with physical activity. It looked at the association between physical activity and brain health in older adults, done by the Institution of Public Health and Caring Services in 2013. I found this study in the Journal of Neurobiology of Aging, done by Benedict, Brooks, Kohlberg, Nordsold, Burgos, Greaves, Killander, Larson, Johannesson, Alstrom, Lind, and Skoth. They found that their research suggests certain lifestyle components are linked to variance in measures of brain health. So they did scans of the participants' brains to see the difference between the non-active and the active participant. So they looked at and found differences in brain volume and also cognition. The third study has to do with social activity. So this is the Taiwan longitudinal study on aging. It's an active engagement in social groups study that looks at that as well as a predictor of mental and physical health among Taiwanese older adults. It was a 4-year longitudinal study. It was done by Taiwan's Health Promotion Administration and Institute of Family Planning. I found it in the International Journal of Gerontology Technology in 2015. The authors were Li, Wu, Chang, Wang, Wu, and Chen. And these authors found that participation in social groups demonstrated a positive effect on decreasing the risk of developing depressive symptoms in older Taiwanese females. So between these 3 studies, it looks like there is some significant research and other studies that do support the experiment's core study as well. But there seems to be a lot more that does need to be studied and looked at. So that's it for today. Thank you very much.